because he told people to molest more corpses. I don't know which is better, worse, other. I don't know. I don't even know. To be honest. Okay, as to my brother, yeah, my brother has not, my brother has not, at any point in time suggested that anybody molest corpses in any way. And I really don't view, like, a child hugging grandma's corpse because they don't understand as a molestation. More of a, you know, you really shouldn't do that because Nana ain't here anymore. You know, and must go. Nicely done. Anyway, but yes, so I have like a ridiculously large quantity of memorialized death fodder, I suppose you could call it. Like I remember my great grandmother dying.
Mm-hmm.
I vaguely remember going to her funeral. Actually, no, that's a lie. I don't remember going to her funeral. I was under 3 years old at the time. And great grandma died. The last time I really remember anything was when she was actually at her like 99th birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
And I only vaguely remember it because she was in a pink sweater.
Okay.
She was in a pink sweater and she had big poofy white hair and she was wrinkly old lady. That's all I remember.
Instigating missile launcher does double damage if the target is at full health. Tempting, but no.
You should bring that and sell it.
Okay.
Perfect.
That would actually be a decent sellable weapon.
Okay, and yeah, I'm not gonna give it to Curry because who knows what she would do with it.
Anyway, but yeah, so you know, I remember that. I don't remember her funeral or anything like that. But I'll be honest, okay, I know this is kind of getting morbid and weird.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, let's roll with it because hell, we're killing monsters.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
When you gaze into
the maw of the abyss, yeah, you just kind of roll with it.
Sometimes the abyss gazes back at you.
That's a fair enough assessment.
We're probably butchering that quote, but whatever.
Whatever, it's close enough.
It was Nietzsche. I think it was Nietzsche, so whatever. You just go ahead and butcher it.
Yeah.
Can't open it from this end.
Okay. So, yeah, okay, so the weirdest... okay, there's two weird instances of me going to a funeral that was just weird. And the first one was when I was a teenager. It isn't first. I was filthier in the...
It was pithy in the original German. I'm sure.
Which was?
The whole abyss and the abyss looks back at you.
Yes. It probably had a little bit more poignance in that than, well, we have. That's one of the faults of English, when you sit there and you steal things but have no context for what you're stealing. Which is totally a thing. Anyway. Chock full of pith. That's fair enough, grunt fodder. It's fair enough. So, okay, so the weirdest funeral that I think I have ever been at was when one of my, I believe we were high school class, well, we were elementary school classmates, but I believe her father passed away, and I don't remember the circumstance. Don't remember anything of the circumstance. When we were in middle school. And actually, I know it was in middle school because I remember when we had to sit there and set everything up for it, because that was the year that I had the teacher who sat there and said she was going to borrow me a pencil, and we corrected her and said, no, you mean lend, and she was like, no, I know what I'm saying. Okay. Just the thing that... Oh, and also that she said that there's going to be a funeral on Friday.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was like I think it was 7th grade. funeral on Friday.
There you go.
Totally a thing. And so yeah, they set this whole thing up, and we went to the funeral, and we were in like 7th grade, and it was awkward. And then they sat there and they played all kinds of like near pop funerary, you know, like In the Eyes of an Angel, and just various other songs, which were just totally heart-wrenching because, you know, this was our classmate who sat there and had somebody who died, and we were like, oh God, can you make this worse with playing these songs? Because now forever she hears this girl is going to hear this song and think of her dad's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
And it was horrible. It was truly horrible because it's just, you know, you wanted to be there for her, but you really didn't feel like you were there for her, but as a way to get out of class because it was all during school hours.
Mm-hmm.
And notoriously, teenagers are assholes and looking for any reason to get the fuck out of class.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be real.
Fact.
It's a fact. Okay? Anybody who's been a teenager knows this. But I'm gonna be honest, the weirdest
Mm-hmm.
never thought I would say this, was when my grandfather died.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I'm bringing anybody down, but it was weird. Because I was like 14 at the time. Ish.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 13. I don't even. This is one of those things that. Okay, this makes me weird because of the fact that when somebody dies, I don't exactly remember the date.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that I ever will because they're no longer here. And it's not that I've forgotten them, but that I want to forget the date that they left.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not what's important to me. It's what they brought to my life that's important, and not the whole kit and caboodle of they died, I mourned, yada yada yada. Okay? That's neither here nor there. And so I tend to forget when people die because I want to view them as how they lived, and fixating on when they left doesn't really allow me that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I don't know that they for me ever existentially ever really leave because they're still with me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so even though they're physically not here, they've never actually completely left.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think about them all the time. So that's my whole thing on death, and maybe I'm a little weird on that. But when my grandfather died, okay, both of my grandfathers have died. When my grandfather on my father's side died, it was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Because we went to the wake, we did the whole thing, but then we went to the post-wake. Is that even what they call it? I don't know what they even call it. It's like,
It is now.
I'm just gonna call it there's the wake where you sit there and you go to the funeral home and you have people come by and sit there and give condolences. And then there's after you've put the corpse in the ground, and I don't know what they call that exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm weird like this. I don't know what they call that. I'm gonna call it like the post wake because I have no other term for it. And the weirdest thing in the world to me, and, you know, to some degree, this might besmirch some people I know,
Mm-hmm.
was that I walked into the post-wake, if you want to call it that, and my uncle, who I had not seen in years, gave me the look. You have to understand, my uncle was at the time more than 40 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me the up down, and I was like 13, 14 years old, and I just sat there and was like, okay, I'm totally weirded out. The wakening, the post-wake, the wakening. You know, that's actually a really good term for it. The wakening. I like it. But yeah, so, you know, he sits there, and he
By the way, we're going in search of a gear.
A gear?
Because I need a gear to build a turret to secure this location I just freed, and...
Oh, okay. Well,
So
gear hunting! Metal Gear!
which it all ties back around.
Everything is circular. But yeah.
And I don't think I've ever been in here. Okay.
But yeah, so we sat there and, yeah, so my uncle... Well, what's even worse is the fact that my uncle not only gave me the up-down look, eyebrow raise, weird feel thing. Not only did he do that to me, he did that to 3 of my siblings. 3 of my female siblings, and it felt...
Call Pedo Bear, yes.
Yes. Call Otacon, call Pedo Bear, call Metal Gear. I think call Metal Gear. That would be my answer. Just like boop boop beep Metal Gear. Okay.
Just nuke it from orbit.
Just fucking let me get away and just nuke this shit because yeah. But yeah, I mean this had been my uncle.
Curry's got a knife. Curry will cut a bitch.
Why haven't you does she have a weapon and ammo?
She has a laser rifle.
Does she have ammo?
Yeah, that's her default weapon, so she has unlimited ammo for it.
Okay, I was just asking. Apparently, she wants to cut some bitches.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, but yes. So my uncle. Is there anything in? No. Baseball. Ah.
It's running away from me.
Apparently, but yeah. So yes, my uncle totally pedo-beared, pedoed. God, I don't even know what the correct term for this is. Sat there and to his own nieces looked at us and gave an up, down, look that was just totally inappropriate. Like if Pam was there, she would have sat there and been like, that's totally inappropriate. You know, because it was totally inappropriate. I mean, the funny thing is that same uncle happened to be my godfather at the time, and wanted to get back in touch with me when I graduated from high school, and I was like,
oh God, that's like textbook.
Yeah, and I sat there and I was like, oh hell no, bro, ain't happening here. So I sat there and I was like, okay, fine, we'll meet.
Then Chris Hansen steps out of the casket and the daylight cameras roll out. Snort laugh. You wish that happened, don't you? Okay, great job, folks. You've broken her. You have broken her.
Oh God! Oh God! Okay, that's funny. Why did you come here today? Anyway, so yeah, so my godfather contacted me through an intermediary of my aunt and sat there and said, Nancy, I know it's a case of, yeah, I know you graduated high school and you're going off to college and everything. I'd like to heal the breach. Which, looking back on that term, that phrase is just really worrisome. And I was like, okay, fine. Weirded out by the whole thing with Grandpa dying. That was years ago by this point. And I sat there and was like, you know, okay, you haven't had much to do with my life, so let's roll with this. And I was like, okay, I will meet you, Uncle. But I have some
concerns, conditions.
No, conditions. I have some conditions. First of all, we're going to meet at my parents' house, where my parents are going to be there. Was that Shadowmare? That totally looked like Shadowmare. Okay, but yeah, so we, so I was like, okay, I'll meet you and I will. We can talk and everything like that, but it's going to be in a place that I feel safe and comfortable, and that there are people who can whatever. And I left whatever to be like a very large field. Okay? So, oh, God, Curie.
She just knifed that dog.
You just, oh, God, I almost came from that. I just sploosh. I just totally sploosh. Anyway, yeah, so I sat there and I was like, okay, we'll meet at this time at my parents' house. You know where they live. They've lived there for like ever. And, you know, so we'll meet there. And I remember, okay, this is kind of like a sad story. I'm just prepping
Many
everyone.
of these are.
As sometimes these are, you know, that's a reality. I mean, I'm not hurt by it or anything like that, but it is what it is. Oh, fuck me. What is beeping?
Where is he?
Left. There you go. Boom. 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 There we go. Okay. So the day comes when my uncle wants to meet me, and he sits there and he tells me that he's like, okay, yeah, I'll be there. And I waited. And I waited. My parents were around the house and such, and I waited. And I waited. And the reality was, he never showed.
Yay?
I think that was probably for the best. Amusingly enough, after I graduated, he sent me a pen with my name engraved on it.
Which
I never used the pen. I still have it, I believe, somewhere around the house. But it's one of those things that I'm like, I have it, I never used it, I never fucking want to. It doesn't mean anything to me, but it's just kind of one of those cases of, I still have it for whatever reason because I haven't run across it at a point where I was throwing shit away. Actually, maybe I did throw it away.
Seems likely.
Probable. I mean, it's entirely possible that I did throw it away. But yeah, so I sat there and I never used it, never anything with it, and I was just like, you know, it was at that point that I sat there and I was like, okay, that's it. I'm done. And I've never really wanted to have anything to do with my uncle again.
Which is completely sane.
Because not only did he give me the up, down, like, okay, you know how back in the day, okay, anybody who's old enough, who remembers Joey from Friends, when he sat there and he gave Rachel the up, down, and was like, how you doing?
Yeah.
Okay? It's really creepy when that comes from your uncle.
From your family, yes.
That shit's not supposed to come from your family. You know, you're supposed to sit there and say, okay, here's the area where it's acceptable. Here's the area where it's not. And your family falls into the latter one, where it's not acceptable.
Fact.
Okay, that's just reasonable, I think. I mean, that's
Oof.
logical.
I have run out of beer power.
Oh, well, vodka it is. Okay, fine, wine. But yes. And so I sat there and I said, I was like, you know, okay, well,
no arguments.
I kind of cut ties at that point and was like, I haven't had anything to do with my uncle in years. I don't really want to have anything to do with my uncle. This was really my last ditch effort to give him a chance. And I sat there and said, well, guess what? There's the door. There's my boot. Bam!
Get out. Ooh, a bone cutter.
And so that, and, ooh, bobby pins too. Never a bad thing to have. And beer.
You're right. I need more alcohol.
Beer. Okay. But yeah, so I mean, that was kind of my thing with my uncle. And then, oh God, and then the other stories about my uncle came out.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So you dodged a bullet here.
I did. Well, There was the time when my uncle had a dog.
Oh, wait. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
No.
Not like that?
Not like that.
Oh, thank
not
God.
Not like that. Why you gotta go like that? That's
Well,
just...
we were talking about him being a creepy perv, and
Well,
then you
he
brought up
is
a dog.
He is a creepy perv. Actually, now he's just a sick, like physically sick creepy perv, as far as I understand it. But he's far enough away from me that I'm not worried about him, and he has no idea where I am, so it's not really my problem. Okay? So, my uncle had a dog back in the days. This was back in the 80s. And he had trained it to be an attack dog. It was a black lab, and he used it to... And the dog attacked my sister. He slept with a pistol under his pillow, which is really weird.
I agree.
In the middle of no man's land sticks that we lived in. It was weird. There's a number of other things that were weird about my uncle. Totally weird. But, que sera.
That is
Totally
what
a
it
thing.
is.
It was a thing. It was a thing. I really don't have anything to do with him. He's kind of a weird guy. He's been a weird guy. Oh yeah, there was one other thing. Apparently one of my older siblings, just kind of a weird, like a totally weird thing, said that he one time picked them up by their throat and pushed them against a wall.
Yee.
Yeah,
That's pretty terrible.
My uncle was kind of fucked up. He's still kind of fucked up and weird.
So it seems.
I mean, and you know, I don't think that families are weird for this, because I think that's more normal than not.
What is more normal than not?
Having weird people in your family.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
There's always the weird
Essentially, there's either always the weird one, or you know, you don't want to talk about the weird one, or you know, the weird one's really, really weird. Okay? And so you don't say anything, and you just kind of file it away as a kind of situation. And you know, the reality is that families are all kinds of fucked up. That's my real takeaway from this whole thing.
Ooh, I did not loot this radar.
Ooh, bottle caps and duct tape.
Jackpot.
Damn. But yeah,
Oh.
so I mean...
Was it Dostoevsky who said that every happy family is alike and every unhappy family is unique?
Actually, I don't even agree with Dostoevsky on that. I don't believe that there is a happy family. I really don't. I feel like every happy family is a potentially unhappy family. It just takes the right
Catalyst?
the right instance. I mean, I know that I have a friend who divorced her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And that was he
Legit?
That was totally legit. He was violent and various other things. And her parents, she was adopted, and her parents sit there and still
Pam.
talk to him like he's their son. And it hurts her. I mean, it's terrible for her. She sits there and she's like, I don't know how they can sit there and communicate with him like this when they know what it does to me. And you know, maybe in that instance there's a case of there's something that they wanted, that they saw in this individual, that
A pre-war
they can
cache,
sit
huh?
there and see, and
This'll be
they want to continue, but they don't recognize the reality that, I mean, and they were a solid family before that. Okay? You know, they were what I would consider at that point a quintessential family. So really, any family has the potential to fall into
Nice.
this
That sounds pretty high tech.
destructive pattern. It just takes the right initiator. You know, and that's not to say that every family will, or that every family is, or anything like that, but that it's one of those things that, you know, it's hard to deal with. Lift your right foot. Thank you. But yeah, I mean,
Hey, Rook.
it's hard when you're a.
It's my
I think that any
envious job
family
to
is
keep track
hard.
of all the dead drops. Grab incoming agents.
Some are
and
just
tell them where
fucked
they're
up
needed.
from the
I
get-go.
don't suppose you want to
Some
switch places.
end up in a place where they're fucked up, and some have,
Hope you know how to use a minigun.
you know,
and
mitigating
soak up
circumstances
bullets.
that cause them to be
Yeah, you
fucked
heavies
up.
need a lot of punctuality and attention to detail, right? If so,
You know,
go.
I mean, and you
We'll
know
be seeing each
something.
other.
There's nothing inherently wrong with being a quote unquote fucked up family.
Hey, Carrington.
I mean,
Good, you're here. There's been a development. A raider gang has captured one of our agents. Codename.
actually, Grunt
Black
Fodder, you have a very,
Truth is, we thought he
very
was
poignant point.
Yep.
Families can be willingly
Desdemona clings to the
blind
far-fetched
to
hope
the
that
most
A,
grotesque
Blackbird is
things
alive,
rather
and
than
B,
deal with
he can
them.
tell us what happened to the sins held at the
It's
Godfather.
it's the thing that
But
I
he wants
call
you
the
to tackle
elephant
this
in the
reason.
room.
Yep.
You know, that you sit there and you have this elephant in the
Blackbird's alive,
room, and
I wanna bring him
everybody
back as you see fit. The
either
dead drop has the
agrees
full
or
brief.
doesn't agree, or
Raiders aren't
they
known
don't
for keeping
necessarily
their captives
agree.
alive.
They just sit there and they say,
Since you're risking your
well,
neck.
everybody else is ignoring it, so I'm going to ignore it, and so it ends up the elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's other times that the elephant in the room, there's various types of elephants that can be in the room. I mean, the elephant that I'm most used to is we're perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people fall into that category of thinking that we are a perfect family and we need to depict
Do you need
this
something?
perfect family to the world, because if we don't, everybody's going to know we're not a perfect family.
For now.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And that being imperfect is inherently bad. It's inherently negative, and it's stigmatizing. And I think that's more of a social thing than a factual thing, because I think you can deal with
Mm-hmm.
you can deal with the elephant in the room if you're willing to deal with it and not sit there and be like, well, I can't deal with it because people are going to stigmatize me and are going to assume that I'm a bad person or whatever. Because an elephant in the room is nothing more than a case of something that nobody wants to
It's
address.
really great, Tom.
I told Dez I could count on you.
That's what it
So
is.
my
That,
sensor,
that
I call it
it's
meter, needs to be up high, real high.
we call it the elephant in the room, but I mean, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it a camel or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Chuck that stuff if you need to. Like, you know who couldn't spoof a conventional camera, right?
Conspiracy theories.
I'll take good care of Mila.
She's got a lot of sensitive components. So be gentle.
Oh, I'll
I
be
got the
gentle.
perfect spot
Anyway.
picked out. Set Mila up and let the juicy data pour in.
Juicy
Indeed.
data? Data's not juicy like that. Okay, fine, whatever, Tinker Tom. But yeah, so you know, you sit there and you have this that people sit there. I think the I'm gonna use air quotes on this social norm
Mm-hmm.
is okay. Here's okay. I'm gonna sit there. I'm gonna state what the social norm is and the reality. The reality is you don't know how fucked up your family is. Nice.
A gorilla ate my patrol car.
Nice.
Deal with this guy.
But yeah, so I think that most families, people just in general, because of the fact that we sit there and we're in a society,
They're the magic outfits.
except the fact that he's got dark wash jeans.
Hey.
You
You
bitch, give me
something.
those jeans. I'm gonna give him
Remember.
curry.
To breathe. I keep thinking if I forget to do this, no more curry. And suddenly, all this excitement we do, there is an element of something new. What if my arm is blown off? It is not so simple to repair this now.
Don't worry. I'll keep you safe.
That makes me feel better. Calm. I will be fine. It is coming to me. Quickly, I hope. Just bear with me. I am sure my research will blossom with this magnificent new hardware.
Okay. Finish your story, and I think we'll probably call it a night.
Okay. So yeah, so the whole thing is that, you know, when the reality is that when you're in when you're in whatever situation you're in to begin with becomes your norm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So you don't recognize whether or not that norm is a healthy norm or an unhealthy norm or anything like that. It is just your norm. So whether you're in an abusive situation, a healthy situation, or what have you, none of that really matters because all of your concepts of norm are encapsulated in what you are. So you don't know what you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so
The spiral can only wiggle downwards.
the spiral can only wiggle downwards, and you sit there and you look at it and you're like, well, you know, you say that this is abnormal, but what's normal? Okay? And that's its own thing. So, when you have that as your reality, who's to say what's normal? Because you don't recognize it. You don't sit there and look at your own situation and say, oh my god, this is abnormal. And you don't do that until you get to a position where you sit there and you see something that is near normal, or maybe normal, or tangentially normal, that you can sit there and say, that's what I want to have in a situation like this, in a relationship like this. That's what I want, but I don't have that, which makes me realize the fact that, oh god, this is not fucking normal. Which is hard to deal with. It's not fun. It's kind of fucked up. You know. And but that's the reality, that you have normal to you, normal to the rest of society, and what is baseline normal. And that's not to say that any or all of those are the same. Those can be variants within. And so, you know, when you sit there and you say that, I mean, I think that most people can sit there and say, my uncle sitting here giving me the once over like I'm a piece of meat. That's abnormal.
Okay.
But apparently for my uncle, that was normal. To him. And creepy as hell to me. You know?
All right.
So, I guess that's where I leave it, is that, you know, families are weird. And, you know, you should only, you know, do your best that you can with your family and... ow. Yeah, you know, do the best that you can with your family, and I guess know when you sit there and have to put up barriers.
True. So these are what we'll probably look into next time, is doing some more of these quests. Maybe we'll look into the Minutemen, but maybe we'll take a different companion along.
Oh, we'll actually see who everybody wants.
Sounds like a plan.
It does.
So, and with that, we will call it a night. Thanks everybody for coming out.